Getting in a better mood. Live from room 701 at the Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa in Bucolic, Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's the first 100% attendance version of Business Pants Friday show since, anyone want to guess? When's the last time we were all together in the same room?
2013.
Ari?
May.
Emma?
Sometime in late May.
Yeah, Ari?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
April 22nd. That was the last time the four of us together. This is Business Pants Friday featuring the goodliest data queen, the irritatingest Emma Lurking, and the assholiest Whopper with cheese, Matt Mascardi. Woo! I'm just a placeholder. Let's do this. Ari, I know, Ari, you want to get back to business. So
Yeah.
you ready
Why don't
for
we
this?
start with Ari?
I'm
Forget
pumped.
the story of the week. Why don't we start with the
Whoa.
goodliest of the week? Because it was a
my
crap week.
goodness.
Really?
Or will we ruin the rest of the show by having
Yeah, because then
it?
it's just like a downhill slide. I don't know if I...
This is a little bit like in middle school when, you go in a certain order and then the teacher reverses it.
I know, right?
And now you're
Reverse.
first.
Yeah, because I was always towards the end with my last name, the R. So when they would reverse it...
It's called the snake draft. Get over it, people.
I still would store it in the middle, so it doesn't really matter.
All right.
You really... I don't know. What do you think? I'm going to leave it up to you, Emma. Who goes first?
Ari.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah.
All
she
right.
That means we're gonna have
up.
45
It's
straight
gonna get
minutes of
all
depression.
Bad after that. Soul
I'm an
crushing
agent of chaos.
terribleness.
I don't know why you asked me.
Yeah, that was a terrible
Come on,
idea.
Ari.
Let's
Come
do
on.
this.
Let's do it.
Perk us up. Goodliest of the week, the data queen.
Woo!
Here we go.
Well
The
said.
first
Yeah.
somewhat uplifting news from the metaverse.
Somewhat up.
Some-
There's
Somewhat.
uplifting
Okay.
news from the
Okay,
metaverse.
I
so
didn't wanna-
already we're
Somewhat
behind the
uplifting.
we're already behind the 8 ball. You said
Yeah.
metaverse and somewhat.
Somewhat.
Well, because it's the metaverse, I feel like somewhat is the highest
Go
you
ahead.
can go. Chobani is entering
Yes.
the metaverse. They're
oh, that's
launching-
already
No.
a boo.
What?
You've already
But
ruined
listen
it.
to this.
It's yogurt, Ari. It's yogurt.
They're launching the Chobani Oat Milk Cosmic Race.
Oh, this is not uplifting. Okay,
And
keep going.
participants get to race through a virtual galaxy in Chobani oat milk spaceships, delivering oat milk to different
Stop.
planets. And there are rewards for winning the races. There's a leaderboard, and you can win in-experience stuff like custom merchandise.
You're depressing me, Ari. I'm
It sounds ridiculous.
gonna feel better by doing this.
Well, listen, there is a little kicker. The leaderboard also
getting
serves
Yeah.
as the charity board,
that.
and once a certain target is hit, Chobani will donate $75,000 to Hunger Free America. And they
Can't just
hope,
give them the money. Gotta have a
listen, they already
metaverse
give a
oat
lot of
milk.
money. You know that. I know that. We all know
You have
that.
to get your customers in the metaverse first.
They hope that this whimsical is the word they used. Virtual game can attract new fans to the brand in a playful way. Come on, this is
God.
Okay,
the
all right,
only
moving on.
endearing
Call you-
metaverse.
Did
Moving
Shivani call you up? You have to navigate the gauntlet of racism and misogyny to get to the oat milk contest in order for them to give $75,000 to Hunger for America when they could
Ari,
just
you're
give
taking the fun out of
75.
eating yogurt
They
too.
already give out a lot of money.
Give
and,
more. All
I
right,
said
go,
somewhat
next one.
uplifting, so let's not
Next-
crap on her. Moving on.
Their
Number two.
IPO is delayed till the end of the year or next year. Just FYI to our listeners who care about business news.
Is that
Now.
more uplifting? Yeah.
I like that.
Number 2, modern modern tech meets conservation.
The modern
You
Turk.
have smart TVs, smart fridges, smart toothbrushes. Now there will be smart parks
Okay.
by a
Okay,
company.
I like this. I'm going to give this a positive
going.
point. Yeah,
Keep
go ahead.
going.
The company's
Mostly I want
called
to stop that music.
Smart Park, and they're focused on finding technological solutions to conservation problems. They argue that
Okay.
tech companies like Google and Microsoft, they have conservation arms, but because it's not their core business,
Sure.
the technology is not the highest it can be, right?
Okay.
So Smart Park has built their own technology. It's called LoRa, stands for long range, and it's networking technology that uses radio waves like 4G and Wi-Fi networks. But the big difference is that 4G and Wi-Fi networks were built to send lots of data over short distances, and it uses a lot of power.
Yeah.
Conservation needs require sending tiny amounts of data over very long ways, And Laura can do that using a lot less power.
Yes, they did it.
All right.
That
No.
is a great story.
Because they use so
God.
little power.
Yes.
They've been they've been
Yeah.
able to develop tracking devices to help protect critically endangered animals like black rhinos.
Oh, you're going off the rails here, Ari. Okay.
Black
No.
rhinos.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
what? I don't have anything to
Damien
say.
hates
that
black rhinos.
Always have.
Well, they're almost all gone, Damien. So maybe one day
Yeah,
you'll be
thank
happy
God.
that they are gone.
Okay, keep going.
They teamed
going.
up with, park management agencies, and knowing where the animals are at any given moment will really help them focus their boots on the ground to prevent
Okay.
things like poaching. Also, Smart Park, they can gather other info like temperature data or water levels in all the watering holes. And they can turn on pumps remotely so nobody has to walk over, or not even walk, drive several hours into a park because some parks are ginormous.
I
And
like
they can-
this.
Yeah.
This is super cool.
The Supreme Court just called and they're going to deregulate rules against poaching black rhinos. So, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's coming to
Okay.
Botswana near you. So
Oh, okay.
It's a
I like
little
it.
bit of a
Number
trip to get
It's
there.
better than the first story. So
Yeah.
we're
Oh.
going up.
I'm excited about this third one. It
Here we go.
involves a
Number 3.
billionaire saving all our
Oh.
drugs.
I don't like this
Okay.
already.
Emma likes this.
Last year, Mark Cuban founded Mark Cuban's Cost Plus Drug Company. As
Really?
you
Seriously?
all
That's what it's
know.
called? It's
Yep.
called Mark Cuban's Cost Plus Drug Company?
Yep. And the purpose, I think Mark Cuban just
Brilliant
got fed
branding.
up with.
Yeah, is it a new one though? Like putting your own. We don't see that very often. Billionaires putting their own name into. The
I
names of
honestly
companies.
think this was just a huge F everything. I'm creating this company and I'm gonna get
Okay.
this mother effing price down because this is bananas type of frustration out of a
Okay.
billionaire, which I fully endorse. Anyway, there's this drug pricing formula that I found kind of amusing.
Sure.
The drug prices are, it is the cost of the ingredients plus
Oh.
manufacturing
89 cents. Yeah.
plus a $3 pharmacy dispensing fee
Yeah.
plus $5 shipping because a billionaire can't give you free shipping
Yeah.
plus a 15% margin.
Okay.
All of this added up, it is often half and sometimes a quarter of the cost of brand name company drugs.
Okay.
Diabetes medicine, for example, it went from $74.40 to $660 for 30 pills.
This is
Wow.
diabetes medicine that he's selling from his company.
Correct, generic diabetes medicine.
Johnny,
Now,
Can I buy it?
researchers,
this is
do you have
hard
a
to
prescription
dislike.
for it?
This is hard to
Yeah,
dislike.
it's
so
really
far.
hard to dislike this.
Now, researchers from Harvard Med School and Brigham and Women's Hospital found that out of 89 generic drugs, if 77 drugs were provided by Mark Cuban's company, 77 drugs that Medicare subsidized, bought, whatever, 37% of Medicare's drug budget would have been cut. 37%. They would have saved $9.6 billion.
That's
This is
something.
like the
Can I have that money?
materiality argument. Like,
Isn't
let's
that
show
insane?
show us how we make or save money before we care about poor people.
Isn't that insane? $9.6 billion if you just buy your drugs
I
from Mark
guess
Cuban.
I'm a little
Also,
yeah.
I don't know how, if
This
Mark
isn't-
Cuban can just get up and do this thing, the United States government can just get up and build this effing thing and
Well, that's the
save
thing
them
I
on
was
the
thinking.
$5 shipping and the 15% markup. Anyway,
Well, we
that
know our government.
37% could have been a lot more, but this is awesome. How can you not like this?
Well, I do like it. I mean, here's the thing: is that when you go into any pharmacy, you already do see generic drugs at a considerable discount. So is it beneath that discount, or is it just
Yeah.
to more
It's-
drug? Okay.
At scale for Medicare and Medicaid.
Right.
And the second thing is that we know it's possible because anyone who's been to any other country than the U.S. knows that you can get a huge bag of wonderful drugs at a drugstore for like $4. So, and the third thing is we know our government is not in the mood to help anyone anymore. So,
Well, this is
seems
the
good.
thing. The
This seems
government is
good.
just effing themselves. I've been saying effing a lot.
Effing themselves.
Yes.
I like that you're also censoring yourself as if
Yeah.
there's someone listening to the podcast that cares.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got, just to round out,
Yeah.
Metaverse Chobani,
Metaverse yogurt.
oat
Oat
milk
milk
yogurt,
spaceships. Come on.
Dystopic, cultured.
Delivering oat milk to planets.
tracking
products.
black rhinos in a Botswanan park,
Yeah, instead
and-
of feeding people who probably are hungry. Yeah.
and Mark Cuban reducing drug costs from Medicare by almost 40%.
I mean, I'll just go quickly to make this easy to open up to Emma and Matt. By default, I gotta go with cheap drugs. I
Cheap
won't
drugs
say
all
anything
day
more.
long. I don't know that we
I don't
need
trust
to.
Mark Cuban, but I'll just go there.
Cheap drugs beats
That's my-
billionaire.
I want to not like Mark Cuban, and I'm sure there's a lot of things I don't like about him, but I do feel like he's the adult in the billionaire diaper baby room half the time, which
Sometimes
is
it does feel that way. Yeah.
it's a low bar, but he feels
Yeah.
like it.
He's a vegan, which you hate, right, Matt?
I don't care.
How do you know that? Have you
Because I
been to
watch
his
Shark
house?
Tank. Watch Shark Tank.
Oh, worse.
I hate to agree, but I think I am going for cheap
Clean
drugs
sweep.
as
Sweep,
well.
baby.
Chobani?
sweep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's a sweep. It's a sweep.
All right, that was sad. And not. Can I just tell you how really sad it is? I maybe you just don't check the Slack anymore. Sorry, CEO
I saw
Stuart
that 5
Butterfield.
minutes before I
But I
logged in.
sent you a story
I
from
saw.
Bloomberg today. Beer made from recycled toilet water. I mean, how do you pass up that? for the
Yeah, I
metaverse?
That
one's easy
Yogurt
to
in the
pass up.
metaverse? Really?
I sent you a headline about a man who's the mother of 60 baby kangaroos. That wasn't better than the Chobani in the metaverse?
Okay, wait, what? That's good.
I didn't
Why
know
not?
how to do that.
All of these things are terrible.
I think, and I
Mark
think,
Cuban was going to win no matter what.
The Texas legislator just called their outlawing man being a father to kangaroos. So,
But
All right.
don't get a
Makes sense.
kangaroo abortion, women.
who's
All right,
next?
it's all
Emma?
downhill from here,
Emma,
people.
now,
Who's next?
Emma, now you have to pick who's next.
I do? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
swinging it back around to Damien.
All right, story of the week. Come on, we'll go quickly here.
All right.
We're
Yeah,
ending
Unlike-
with the two gnarliest this week.
Unlike filibuster or Ari, the data queen. I group mine into things that children are saying to their parents. I got 4 groups. These are things that kids across America are saying to their parents. The first one is, I think mommy and daddy are smoking weed.
They say that
Okay.
to their parents?
Yeah.
Or
Or
did-
maybe
would
they're
they
just
say,
saying it to a
Are
concerned.
you guys smoking weed?
Yeah. I think that they're saying it to each other. Maybe it's a brother and sister saying it to each other. They're realizing that, oh my god,
Oh, they're like waking
our
up.
parents
to-
are doing bad things. Like our parents are breaking the rules, or I can't believe our parents are doing bad stuff. What?
Okay, now I got the construct. So I think mommy and daddy are smoking weed. That's number one. All right, let's see.
Here are the first. That's the first category, and the 2 headlines to support this: Swiss court convicts Credit Suisse of laundering drug money. Swiss court ordered Credit Suisse to pay the equivalent of $22 million for failing to prevent a Bulgarian crime ring from laundering money related to cocaine trafficking. And Matt, this is our first story that I have tagged from a website called Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project. So I'm very excited about this. Good for Credit Suisse. This is amazing.
Is that
Wow.
like Orca? What's the acronym?
It's like
there?
gangster
Organized crime?
Goodfellas news. It's OCRP.
Orca.
Which is also going to be featured in the metaverse in Ari's next story. Okay, and the second one is something we covered yesterday. Ernst & Young to pay $100 million fine after
Yeah.
auditors cheated on ethics exams.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's still one of the stories of the week because that's uplifting, actually. I don't
Oh,
know.
no.
That should have been in Good Latest of the Week.
Yeah,
because
right. If I had put that, you'd been like 100 million. You know what 100 million is?
I like
Emma
my
would've,
favorite is
yes.
Ari's me voice. I wish it,
I do like
I
that
wish she
too.
actually did the entire show in me voice.
I like that Ari doesn't know us at all, that she thinks that featuring a story about a yogurt company in the metaverse is supposed to make you feel good.
No, it wasn't yogurt. It was oat milk. It was even worse.
Whatever.
It's like removed from
number
yogurt.
2.
I love oat milk.
Here's a quote from the children. Number 2, our government hates us. How will our corporate overlord mommy and daddy help us? So
Oh,
I guess they're just
God.
talking about like being protected, mommies and daddies in general. Just
Yeah,
having
they're like
conversation.
talking to a social worker.
So the big story we covered Monday having to do with the fallout of the Supreme Court being horrible people. Here are a bunch of headlines. Top American businesses react to the fall of Roe versus Wade. Uber, Nike, Lyft, Disney, J.P. Morgan, and others vow to help employees access abortions, et cetera,
Whoa!
et cetera.
Do we need a vow sound effect? Maybe a loud dinging noise
Yeah.
that is
Oh.
cringeworthy
Oh,
and
can
difficult
I-
to listen to.
I think it's a good time to point this out. We had a listener write us yesterday. Finally, I'm not going to name names because no one wants me to name names. I have no idea why. But I love you, listener, because I have been complaining about this stupid ding sound effect that Emma plays. And how many times have I
It's not
said,
even-
please change it? It's annoying. It's nauseating. It's horrible. And this listener agrees. And then finally, Emma's changed it. Emma got rid
You
of it.
cannot blame Emma for
I'm
something
blaming Emma.
that I did, because what Damien does really well is say, I don't like that
Nothing.
sound effect, and then
I
finds
wait.
no alternative
Dot,
sound
dot, dot.
effects. And then they just stay there because
Yeah.
others of us have other jobs, do other things.
How about
Head of
this
creative.
headline? How about? But thank you, listener. Anyway, and more people write in and complain. I like hate mail.
Right.
And how about this
Write in and
headline?
complain.
How about this headline to wrap up this this one for story of the week? The fresh hell of depending on your employer for abortion access. That's a
Great
good-
headline. That
Oh.
we've been saying that since the leak decision, but even before that, when people were talking about having to go across state lines, we were talking about the idea that you got to call up your HR department
Oh,
now and tell them
frightening.
everything they like you're what are you going to call them up and be like, yeah, I got raped last night, I need plan B,
Ooh.
can you please cover
Yeah.
it,
Can
my
I just
travel
say,
costs or
Matt,
whatever. What a
'cause I'm
horrific
really-
universe.
Because I'm really happy to speed you off that topic. Three of us have worked for a publicly traded company, right? Ari, Matt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have you? Did you ever go to HR and tell them anything personal about your medical history or your? I mean, did you ever do that once?
No, HR was the thing I had to go through in order to be able to log in remotely. Like
That's
and do
about it,
things.
right?
That was
No.
about it.
I tried to use my HSA debit card once to pay
Yeah.
like
Skittles.
a doctor bill,
Okay.
and it got denied 3 times. And then I went on a website, said denied, and it didn't give me
Yes.
a reason, and I didn't know who to ask why this got denied. Oh, it was annoying.
Did,
So
did
that's
you
when
go
you
to
talk to
HR?
HR.
Did you go to HR?
No, I just
even
reimbursed
then
And
myself.
didn't
go.
even in that situation.
But in a
did not
case
go
of an
to HR.
abortion, yeah, imagine that.
Didn't-
That's
conversation.
horrible. Also,
Terrible.
our HR person switched. It was like the flavor of the week. Like we had a new HR person every 2 weeks. It seems like.
That's true. We did too a little bit.
So
I think you didn't have that, Damien, because they knew they were closing your office and sending all
Okay.
of your jobs away, so they could keep the same person.
You mean
overseas.
offshore? Yeah, overseas. Here we go. The third one in this category, here's the quote. We keep warning mommy and daddy that it's coming and to do something about it but before it's too late. But they either don't care or don't understand or are too high or too busy hoarding abortion pills so they don't have another one of me to do anything about it.
Oh,
That's very
okay.
long-winded.
That's a lot. That's a lot. What, they're very worried about something.
And for our listener who hates the ding sound effect, I bet you hated that one even more. But
He didn't say anything about the sound of our cringy voices.
yeah, I including this because I feel like I'm going to include it every week, and it's kind of funny that because based on what Ari just reported. But here's my story: 90 Harvard MBA alumni held a class reunion in the metaverse. I just want to remind people every week that this is coming and that there's still time to do something about it.
Do we have to say that they held it in the metaverse though? It was a glorified Zoom call. They all
Is that
logged
what it
into
was?
World of Warcraft and
Yeah.
like hung
Okay.
out together. This is not a thing.
But
It's
still.
not cool. No one thinks you're fun. No
No.
one thinks it's funny. Stop it.
But every one of these stories, including Harvard MBA alums, Ari's stupid yogurt, they're warning, they're giving us time
Yes,
to do
that's
something
true.
about it. Okay.
That's true.
mine's
That's true.
just a game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Oat
finally,
milk.
my last one
They're giving us
is
the time, preparing us for oat milk.
here's the quote: "Who are the creeps in the black robes, mommy and daddy?" The story, the biggest non-Roe versus Wade story is the Supreme Court also weighing in on limiting EPA authority to set climate standards for power plants. Although, it's bad because I think it's a precursor to future decisions, but really all they're really doing is they're taking away the EPA's authority and they're throwing it to Congress. But then we know how Congress has been acting, so it's something to fear.
You
But
mean not acting?
It's a strange one, Matt. I don't know if you want to weigh in on this, but it's like it's not as bad as it appears. But I'm worried about what's coming. But I don't know why they need to take the teeth out of the EPA and throw it to Congress. But
Well, here's what I like.
because Congress appoints the EPA, no, or does that come from the executive branch?
But energy companies that are traditional fossil fuel energy companies did not exactly see a surge in their stock prices following this ruling. So,
Right.
like Peabody Energy, which still uses coal, it was down. Like, so I'm not sure the market cares. I think that it's a big deal because there's not an enforcement. But if we're really honest,
Yeah.
how much enforcement did the EPA do, right? Like there was some, and it kept some people in line, but it was market forces, I think, that have been driving a move
Typically.
away rather
Typically.
than the EPA regulating it. I maintain that
Mhm.
both this and Roe falling is a sign that progress has been made, and we're pissed about progress being made, and this is the backlash. This is
I
all
like that
temporary
optimistic
backlash.
point of view. And here's an even more optimistic headline that we one day might be famous because Justice Thomas wants the Supreme Court to revisit libel protections to make it easier for public figures to sue media organizations. So, because I keep hoping eventually we'll roll out some kind of like nasty rating system against directors and CEOs. And,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe they'll come
Sue
after us.
us, baby!
Maybe calling Bob Chapek CEO Disney Bob, maybe we'll come back to haunt us. I can't
Sexual
wait.
harassment. Can't wait. You're
All
gonna
right, that's it.
pull
Those are
that
my
up
four
some-
stories. To wrap them up
I don't like
loosely,
these stories.
I don't want to wrap them up. You can pick.
Yeah, it's creeps in black robes. It's metaverse reunions. Government
It's,
hates us, which is basically creeps in black robes.
It's old
and
established companies
smoking-
doing horribly illegal things.
Yeah, and companies doing terrible things.
Creeps in the black robes got me down. The whole league punched me twice.
Yeah,
I don't care if this is good news. Still a gut punch.
Wait, which
I
is good
think that's
news?
the story. I agree with Ari.
You know Matt's spin with this means
Oh,
progress.
well, it's clearly not good news. Matt's just being
It's not good
bizarrely
news. I'm
optimistic.
just making lemonade.
Yeah.
I want my sour lemons.
I will go with our government hates us. How our corporate overlord, mommy and daddy, help us? Because I think
Yeah.
the climate standard one is going to have the same solution. Everyone's going to look to companies to like reduce their carbon, and the market to fix the the fact that the government is now operating like it's 1722. So I think now we're going to look to corporations to save us.
Yes.
I want to think it's not the beginning of like an Akira style anime William Gibson novel where corporations are literally the only thing. They're like
Right.
corporate states, which was a Damien. That was like your thing for years.
Yeah, and
sovereign
but
corporates.
But I think this is the important thing to hold on to here is that this essentially is what the Supreme Court is doing, right? They are shifting power over to this class of people, right? I mean, this class of institution. I mean, that because and that's why we're focusing on how our corporations are going to help us, because that's ostensibly what they did, right?
I mean,
They're putting
it
in the
struck me
hands
this
of-
morning.
They're putting in the hands of corporations to deal with,
So are
to
we
deal with
like when
this.
we say the Pledge of Allegiance? It's gonna be I pledge allegiance to the
Do you say the
eagle
Pledge of
of
Allegiance?
Pratt and Whitney.
Yeah,
you
You
know?
can say that, Ari.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we
think
say
we're
that
not
every
probably-
morning in our office.
We might not be far from that reality. Yeah, I'm
pledge
I'm not going
allegiance
to let
to
go
the
of my
beard.
prediction. I'm not going to let go of my prediction that we'll eventually be in like these corporate sovereign states somehow.
When I was thinking about the EPA ruling, I was thinking actually what a huge, massive data project needs to be done. Going from Citizens United and dark money and corporations all the way to these rulings, right? I think you're right. The power shift, even when they say the power went back to the states to decide Roe v. Wade, right? The states are largely determined by donations from corporations, right? Like that's the massive donations. So somebody needs to do that data project and figure out which corporations are our sovereigns now.
Maybe some entity can throw a lot of money at us and we can manage the project for them.
That's called fundraising, people. Take notes.
All right. Anyone else want to vote on this story?
Yeah, I'm going for creeps in black robes. I think I'm with
Okay.
Ari.
I mean, you're both. I mean, really,
we're
like
all in
I
the
s-
same zone.
You're kind of all in the same zone because I separated them. But yeah, I think the idea here is that again, what I pointed out is that this shift of power away from government to corporations is essentially what we're talking about here. And I think that the EPA decision clearly also is about that, right? I mean, it's shifting away from democratically elected officials making these decisions to the market making these decisions. Sorry to get all serious for a second. All right, moving on. Emma, who's next?
That's gonna be me, I think.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
saving
all right.
asshole for dead last.
I like when Emma goes last because she's usually the best at this game. Okay, Emma, take it away. Irritating us of the week. Emma,
Irritate me.
Lurking.
Okay, number 1. American companies' spending on private jets hits a 10-year high, and Mark
Yes.
Zuckerberg's Meta took the number 1 spot.
I
So,
thought it was
You're
always
you're
number
good.
one.
You
Meta.
have
Yeah.
irritated me already.
Look how irritated Ari is.
$34 million were spent on S&P 500 CEOs' private travel in 2021. The last year the spending was that high was in 2012, actually, and Meta came out on top, who spent $1.4 million on Mark Zuckerberg's private air travel. It was one of 3 companies to exceed more than $1 million in spending on their CEOs' private jets, along with Lockheed Martin and Tyson Foods. So if you ever need if you ever need proof that Tyson Foods is like secretly, or maybe
What
not
is
even
it?
secretly, but surreptitiously evil, there it is.
Doesn't the chicken look the same in Oregon as it does in Alabama? Why are you flying around?
Yeah. It sounds like I've irritated you enough already, so I'll move on. Number 2.
Well, Emma, I have to ask an annoying question. Is this
Yeah.
are these kind of studies at least adjusted to inflation? Because the cost to do this.
Jesus.
No, but really, like, are they really spending more money, or are they is gas more expensive and the private jets are more expensive? You know what I'm trying to say here?
Mm-hmm.
2021.
What's really going on?
Does
gas
it
was
matter?
cheap.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm just
Does it matter
Moving
even a
on.
little bit?
moving on.
Number 2. H&M showed bogus
Ooh.
environmental Higg index scores
saw
for its
this.
clothing.
I like
so
this. Yes.
this one's a little bit of a doozy, requires some explanation. I'll try to get
here
through
we
it
go.
fast. The Higgs index score was created to be used by customers to compare the environmental impact of their purchases. But something to note before I even get into the shittiness of this is that the Higgs index is already considered to be a bad measure by environmentalists.
Oh, good.
Because it is
Okay.
comparing the standards to the status quo as opposed to what is actually environmentally friendly. So it's just better than the shitty status quo is basically what they're being measured against. So
Something.
even though the Higgs index is already a shitty measure, H&M still outright lied about their scores by ignoring the
Shocking.
positive and negative signs that they posted when they posted the scores on their website. So for example, their actual Higgs index score for water is a negative 30%, which means that they use 30% more water than the industry average. But on their website, they have it as a positive 31%, which means that it is 31% less than the
what?
industry
Wait,
average.
what are you saying? You're saying they just left out the
They inverted their own scores.
They inverted it. Yep.
like routinely for everything?
So not every they
Oh,
have these
I love this.
Higgs
This is
index
great.
sustainability cards. They are not attached to every piece of clothing that H&M sells, but it's like 600 give or take. And on these cards they have the numbers. And they just outright inverted the numbers to make their scores look better.
Yeah, maybe they don't believe in negative and positive numbers. Like, give them a break. Or maybe they're using a spreadsheet that strips that information out or something. Just relax. It's still the
And-
number. It's the number. It's the 31 you're looking for. The positive and negative is immaterial.
Look, so they were changing their scores, and 2 days before this article was published, H&M was taking down references to their Higgs index scores on their
2
US
days.
and UK
Okay.
websites. So there's
Well,
But
they
clearly
knew it
can
was
you
coming.
but can you still get a nice scarf for $6?
absolutely you can.
Can we
at
discuss
H&M.
the fact that they have
Cheers.
600 articles of clothing just with the score? I can't even think of 4 articles of clothing that I own, like pants, shoes. I
Wait,
mean,
so
like
you're
when you
saying
really
that-
start adding this up, how much clothing is there? Like, can
There's
we
a
have
lot.
less?
the score is on the tag? It's on the clothes when you're buying it, like in the store?
No, it's on the website when you're
oh,
Oh,
purchasing.
so no one even cared anyway. So
Correct.
It was great. All right.
All right.
That's
And
moderately irritating.
And number 3, former Apple lawyer in
here we
charge
go,
of
Apple.
tackling insider trading
fixated on
pleads
Apple.
guilty to insider trading.
Oh, that's
stop
not
it.
irritating. That's
come
brilliant.
on.
I
This is
love
what
it.
you're
It's
focusing
cheating on an ethics
Apple
exam.
Lawyer. Stop it.
It's cheating
Oh,
on
I
an ethics
love
exam.
that. Oh,
That's
I
all
should
it
put
is.
that in good
You're
list.
such a strange person, Emma.
I'm giving this
You hate Apple so much. Can you finally buy a Samsung? Can you get over
8,000 positive points.
A little bit of context here. He pleaded guilty to 6 counts of an indictment charging him with
6?
securities fraud. Yep. Each
Okay,
case
fine.
of fraud carries a
Whoa.
20-year max sentence and a $5 million fine. And the background information is that between 2011 and 2016, this man, Gene Levoff, used insider information and traded Apple's stock to generate $604,000 of
Oh,
illegal
stop. This is a
gains on more than
non-story.
$14 million worth of trades.
Come on.
That's it.
You mean you telling me that a high-ranking executive at a corporation used information that they acquired at that corporation to trade on stocks? This is shocking.
And he
Never
only,
happened. Never
and
happened
he
before.
only made
And he
half
made
a
a
mil
Yeah, you made a
Over-
whopping
You
half
just
a million
hate
dollars.
Apple.
Over
You just
14
hate
mil
Apple. It's the
in the
only
course
reason
of
why you
5
picked this
years.
story. It's the only reason why you picked it.
Call me. I'll double your money.
I'm going to skip to the
Wow,
end.
yeah, no, don't call her.
Because
Yeah.
the information you're going to need to know is the fact that Levoff was fired from Apple in September of 2018, which was 5 months before the criminal charges were brought. And Apple declines to comment on the story.
Well, okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Here's
Is
the
it
irony.
fine?
Here's
Or
the irony,
do
Emma.
you think that
I
a
love it.
company
Is that-
who hired a
I
man
love this story.
who was insider trading, whose job it was to mitigate insider trading, is not sketchy? Is none of that sketchy to you at all? And
Here's
Apple
the
has
funny
nothing
thing,
to say.
Emma, is that when I break into your apartment tomorrow, when you're out getting an organic iced chai latte, the only things of value that I'm going to steal are going to be all your Apple products. I'm just saying.
I know. Like
Well, those are the
reason-
only things of value.
The
That's
reason
your
why
Jane
this
Austen
is,
novels.
this is the reason why this is just not shocking. When you've done like governance for 20 years, this is like ho hum. Like, of course that's what they did.
But
And of
Apple's
course
so
they only
high
made
and mighty.
$600,000. 600,000. Come on, it's a joke.
So sad.
But
I like it though.
sad.
I like that you're staying on this, Emma. Though
I'm sticking with it.
No, it's entertaining to me. It's entertaining.
Damien,
Whenever I
what's
see
your vote?
Apple in the headline, you know, maybe I think we're putting too much pressure on Emma because every week we celebrate the genius
Emma,
of her
you're the
irritating
best.
stories. I feel a little let down. this
Nobody
week, 'cause
doesn't like you.
Yeah, see?
the air travel. That's nothing new, and I know Matt is making fun of me, but I'm sure it's just there's incremental, increase in cost to do. I don't think there's anything going on there. The
Okay.
H&M.
Also,
Look,
2021, like the year post-pandemic, where everybody knows you didn't have to actually leave your house for anything, especially if you are that
Yeah,
rich.
Ari's
and you
going
live
to
in such a
Italy
nice
like
house.
every 2 weeks. No one's making fun of Ari for her
Also,
her
Maybe
bi-weekly
that was
Italy
fine a private
trips.
jet.
I would like to point out that
Yeah.
the original third story that I wanted to do, Damien stole from me, which was,
Oh, see,
Yeah,
now we're
which
in
one?
excuse making.
What
Which
was
one
it?
it was the
Listen
90
to that.
Harvard alumni.
But
Uh,
listen,
See,
the
that would have
metaverse
been more
thing.
entertaining. I would have loved to hear you be irritated by that. So I'm going to vote for that story.
That was my original third one.
Because you would have had, that would have been genuine irritation out of you. Because I can just see you hating on those people.
Yeah, because I do hate them.
You can always overlap stories. I didn't say much about that story, really. I briefly mentioned
All
it.
right,
Anyway. All right, go ahead.
Damien voted off the reservation.
All right, go ahead.
What are you voting?
I'm voting for private jets. 10-year
You would.
high.
You would.
When jet fuel was super cheap in 2021
Sure.
comparatively.
Matt?
True.
This
dumb.
H&M thing I find comical because it's basically the industry that we work in, and everyone gets it wrong.
I just love that it comes down to like you didn't put the negative in. I
I
think it's
love
kinda
that
fun.
too. I find
Yeah.
that awesome. And same in just the same way I
Whoops.
find it awesome that Ernst & Young accountants cheated on an ethics exam. I find it awesome that a lawyer in charge of insider trading at Apple insider traded. I just think that's great. That's great. So I'm going to default to the private jets also.
There you
I
go.
mean,
The most
it's
yeah.
irritating to me that Mark Zuckerberg's, the majority of that private jet travel was probably back and forth to his like island
Hawaii
you bought in
islands.
Hawaii, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
That's irritating.
Just take your hydrofoil, dude.
Yeah. Slather up and get on the hydrofoil.
And finally, last but not least,
Least,
At
but
least
not
and
last.
last.
the great Matt Moscardi with the incredible Assholiest of the Week. Come on.
Asshole of the week.
Depress us. Kill
All
us.
right.
Ruin us.
Number one asshole of the week this week for me, I think, is mortality rates. Because if everyone didn't want to stay alive so much, it wouldn't be a problem, which is what Clarence Thomas is saying behind closed doors, I think.
Okay.
Just consider this. The Supreme Court made sure that mortality rates increased for women on June 24th. They made sure mortality rates increased for everyone, including West Virginians, on June 30th. They increased mortality rates from gun violence on June 23rd. Right. That's just the last week, people. Earlier in the year, they increased mortality rates by not allowing COVID vaccine mandates of the federal government. They are desperate to kill you. And simultaneously, I went looking through a bunch of, non-woke state laws that came out in the last week. And we're only worried about increasing human mortality rates because Florida introduced a new law to take care of retired police dogs as
what's
part
the
of
law?
its.
Don't we already have law?
They
like
are
animal cruelty
funding.
laws?
They are funding the care of retired police dogs. That's what they're doing to make sure that they get care.
Florida is that meme. Like,
I don't understand. Yeah.
Has anyone tried telling the people or trying to tell the U.S. that dogs in Flint, Michigan are drinking that water too? Like that, it sums up Florida.
I like that.
I did not research that. That sounds apocryphal to me. In Texas, the 2022, I looked up the 2022 fishing season limits, and actually, there's a fish called the alligator gar, and you're only allowed. The Texas government says you can only catch one of them.
Oh, I don't want.
In order to protect the fish population, they don't want to kill too many of them, and they have rules that include when you catch and release. So it's like you bag one means you take that one home. But if you catch and release, you're not allowed to catch and release using, quote, archery equipment.
Yeah, but
because it eviscerates the fish and you just released a dead fish.
These are probably rules set by people that that Clarence would like to get rid of. I mean, I'm sure he would like to see these regulations go away.
I'm not sure. Las Vegas just passed actually double down its enforcement of animal cruelty law for pets because of climate change. The temperature is routinely climbing above 105 degrees, and they make you keep your pets inside, or you can be charged with animal cruelty.
What about the people?
So the mortality rates for animals,
Yeah.
we're really concerned about. If you have lady parts, if you're a brown person, if you like freedom, not so much. Not so much.
You put it into a
that's number one.
startlingly depressing context there. Thank you, Matt.
That's number one, mortality rates. Number two, asshole of the week, your college dropout big brother.
Okay,
And I
what does that
do
mean?
mean college dropouts. Here, I'm just going to rattle off some headlines. This needs no context, all right? Payment data could become evidence of abortion, now illegal in some states. Right. Anti-abortion centers in the U.S. find pregnant teens online, then save their data.
Ugh.
Instagram increased moderation of abortion content after Roe overturned.
Yeah, I saw that. That they're good at. Yeah.
Google allowed a sanctioned Russian ad company to harvest user data for months.
Allowed.
So
interesting.
They are basically happy with the Russians having your data. Meta is taking down posts about abortion pills on Facebook and Instagram, saying it violates community standards policy.
They also said that some engineer made a mistake about that. They're backtracking on that one.
Oops. Amazon is
enforcement
limiting
error.
purchases of Plan B, the morning after pill, because of a spike in demand. And Tesla is tracking office attendance and sending emails to employees who haven't badged in often
Is
enough.
that wrong? Are they not allowed to track attendance of their employees?
I'm just saying, Big Brother is
Big
now
Brother at it.
tracking.
Big Brother's at it.
They're at it. They're at it.
Yeah.
All that data that you didn't care about for
Yeah.
years and years and years that you happily gave to a bunch of college dropouts and billionaires who made money off of you, they are now weaponizing against you in a very active way. So that's number two. That's my number two asshole. And then finally, my number three option for asshole of the week is distractions.
Well, that could be every week. Yeah.
It could be every week, but it's really special this week.
We call this category drugs. We call it the drugs. But go ahead.
Because,
distractions.
if you're wondering how we get to a place where your college dropout big brother is tracking everything you do, mortality rates increasing unless you're mostly white rich people. Truth is gone. Your job sucks. Your kids hate you. Customer service agents at car insurance providers hate you. Everyone hates you. Here's a list of reasons why you haven't been paying attention. Number one, Chobani launches its first Roblox game to promote oat milk. There's reason number one.
Thank you. Thank you for putting it in the proper context, Matt. Not Ari's horrendous context.
Number two, you already got headlines like this. I tried the rebranded McDonald's in Russia and the fries seem sadder.
Okay, can I just say this is definitely my favorite headline of the week. I love this. Seems sadder. I like that.
I went through that entire article, saw every picture. It was literally the same
It's a
thing.
good
I don't know why we can't rate these things. How about number three? Taco Bell embraces mashup weirdness once again, rolling out a tostada on a giant Cheez-It.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we care about, people.
Okay with that.
The Cheez-It tostada is what it's called. Is an oversized Cheez-It cracker 16 times as large as the one you get in a box.
Whoa.
Topped with taco crap on it.
But
that's what it
bigger
is.
than the box. How did they even
It's
do that?
just giant cracker, and that's somehow in the news. We care about
Sounds
that.
delicious.
How about the Disney Wish cruise ship selling a $5,000 Star Wars themed cocktail? The drink is called the Kyber Crystal. No, it's called the Kyber Crystal. It's served in a smoke machine. It's this pod, and you open it up, and smoke pours out, and then you get like 3 little tiny drinks.
Is there a $5,000 bill in the drink? Like, how is it so expensive?
You get it at the Hyperspace Lounge. That's how it's so,
okay,
it's
I
so
don't know what
expensive.
you're talking about. Now you're just blowing my mind.
Now there's other things here, including Popeye is having a hard time getting rid of MSG because why are these the things that we're talking about? NFTs fell off a cliff in the past week, lowest level in years.
Shocking.
Snap just debuted its paid subscription for power users. The idea that there's a Snap power user is already a problem.
It's my daughter.
In this country.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan exists. He's saying stuff about DeSantis this week. And
Spotify.
Elon Musk, the ultimate distraction, just saying everything, buying Twitter. Distractions are my third option. So that's it.
I thought Elon Musk had gone quiet this week. Is he back?
He's tweeting.
Still quiet.
Still quiet.
He got reined in by his lawyers about the Twitter thing.
I'm going to vote first. I can go quickly on this one because I think this is another one of my favorite categories, is distractions category, which we call drugs here. Because I think this is Matt's making light of this, but I think it's actually more important than the humor value, right? Because I think you're right. I think we're being driven mad by distraction constantly, whether it's just binging Netflix shows or eating giant Cheez-Its. It's clearly at this point, it clearly seems designed for a reason because, when you're doing street magic, you want to divert people to look over there, right? When you're taking away their Social Security or their rights to their own health.
Part of the street magic?
Taking away their, the health care on their own body. So I
never saw the
I'm
David
serious.
Blaine show where he was like, "Look over there. I have your Social Security check."
I have your abortion rights. So I'm voting for this one.
Rates.
I'm voting for this one.
All right, good one.
I'm gonna vote for mortality rates because that context is just so incredible.
Well, Matt and Ari, maybe there's a good reason for this because we're not going to be able to keep all these people alive for so long. So maybe we do need to kill them.
There's your
earlier.
silver lining.
I
I said that.
Yeah.
But
maybe we do need this.
White men the ones that get to
It's
live
white
the-
rich men. It's not white men.
Yeah,
it's white
not
rich
just white men. He's just rich.
Yeah, it's the 1% that's that their
Ari,
mortality rates are
the
so
all
1%
of these
is a fake
things-
thing because the 1% is really the 10%. All right.
Okay. I don't know
Look,
what that
all
means.
of these
Are you
things
H&M
save
all of a
me,
sudden?
Ari. They save me. I'm the one. Look, white men, rich or not, have had mortality rates worse than women for a long time. Women live longer. We're just trying to get to equality.
Thomas
the
is just trying
Supreme
to
Court
bring
is
it
saying equality is what matters. So everyone should die as much as
Emma?
possible equally.
Emma, what's your asshole of the week? And you
all
can't say
right.
Matt. Can't say
I
Matt.
think that the mortality rate one is too depressing for me to name as the asshole. I just can't. Oh, makes me sad.
Too
and
depressing,
then
Matt.
distractions, I really like because Matt.
Of course you like
used
them.
At least 4 headlines that I pulled this week that I really liked but couldn't figure out how to incorporate. So I'm psyched that they're getting some airtime. But I think I am also gonna go with your college dropout brother. Because
we got a tie. We have a tie.
I'm
I
just
like
thinking
that
like
one too.
Nope,
you know,
voted for something
Roe v.
else.
Wade gets overturned. What does everyone do? Let's get all of the data from all of these women who in their health. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a dick move.
be fair,
Mark
Emma-
Zuckerberg right now is outside Emma's apartment rooting through her trash to see what she's been doing to make sure it's legal.
She's been buying Apple products. To be fair, Emma, they were already going to collect the data even without this ruling. I mean, so they're not.
It's true.
Okay.
The depressing
Matt,
one
break the
on
tie.
that list was, and this actually, I'm going to vote with Emma here because the depressing one on this list, the last story, which I didn't read, Planned Parenthood
what's
could
that all
share
about?
personal data like zip codes of abortion seekers with Google and Facebook.
Why?
Which
What's that
means-
about?
What do you mean could?
And Google and Facebook are like, yummy, yummy, more data for us.
Well, what is that? Did you? What's the? Do you know the context behind that, Matt? What's
Their
Yeah.
their
what's the story there?
website has data on user zip code, and they suspended the data sharing, but they were sharing the data with Google and Facebook.
That
Because
is
they
so
everybody's using the same college dropouts, whether you're on the side of conservatives or progressives. You've been sharing that you've been using the college dropouts to target audiences and like get out there and make sure everyone sees you. Until, to me, the distractions and the college dropouts are related in as much as until you all shut off your fucking stupid social media accounts,
Definitely related.
go
Definitely related.
outside. And guess what? You can still catch one alligator gar in Texas, so it's still you still have rights. I think that we're all screwed. That's it.
I have a solution actually. Before we wrap up, I bought a hammock that actually costs less than 5 months of Netflix. It costs less than that. And I gotta tell you, it's more enjoyable. I find it more enjoyable than Netflix. Just being outside in the hammock.
All right,
I'm liking it. I'm liking
let's
it.
get to
All
who
right,
won
wrapping
the
up.
week in predictions, so Damien can go lie on his hand.
Wrapping up, story of the week. Who are the creeps in the black robes? Goodliest of the week. Mark Cuban is saving our drugs. Assholiest of the week are college dropout Big Brother, and irritating this week are private jets. Who won the week? Anyone?
I can go.
Go.
I think that Mark Cuban won the week,
Huh?
both
Really?
for his cheap drug fuck you and for managing to make me forget for a second that he's a crypto pushing billionaire. So
Yeah, I mean, it's
good for him.
do we want to? I don't know if I feel comfortable celebrating Mark Cuban. He spends a lot of time at basketball games. If he had so much power to help humanity, why is he at so many basketball games?
He owns
Speaking
the
of
team.
distractions, I know. I get it, Matt. I get that he owns the team.
You
Anyone else?
just seem confused why he's at the games.
Just
think-
come on, give me a break with all that. Yeah, go ahead.
I think Mark Cuban won as well.
Wow.
When you have, Harvard Med School and a big hospital in Boston being like, hey, federal government, look what we can do. It'd save you so much money. Like, that is such great PR. You can't buy that. I mean, maybe he donated a wing to each of these institutions, but that's pretty legit.
I'm glad to say you're both wrong because Clarence Thomas won the week.
Oh, yeah.
If any person could have won the week,
Fortunately.
He's
literally-
married to Jenny Thomas. He did
This-
not win anything.
Can
I
you-
think he likes
no,
that actually. All right.
Can you think of Ginny Thomas is not in the headlines right now. Clarence is for getting
Well, she
all
sort
of the
of
stuff
is.
he wants.
Ginny sort of
Yeah.
is, in all fairness.
A little bit, but not really. Like,
Yeah.
I think Clarence won the week, and
Well,
with
then-
a subsidiary win to white men. So thanks, Clarence.
That's
Well, then
every
my-
week. White men win
my
every
winner-
single week.
My winner is a tangent on yours, Matt, because I picked sadness.
That could also
Predictions?
be every week.
Every week.
Predictions. I'll go first. Predictions. I'm going to say the NFL severely punishes quarterback Deshaun Watson for good reason, but they're going to do that because it's easier and arguably more fun if you're pandering to an anti-woke audience to target a black player than a white owner. Because I don't think they're not going to punish Dan Snyder in the same way they're going to punish Deshaun Watson. And I think they're going to use the Deshaun Watson punishment to distract from punishing a white owner and to kind of placate, quote unquote, a woke crowd who wants something done here. So that's
100%.
Well, thank you, Emma. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
Anyone
I feel
else?
very confident that is going to happen.
Wow.
It's fun targeting black quarterbacks. It's just the right thing to do if you're the grubby, disgusting NFL.
Ari never has a prediction. Emma, do you have a prediction?
Apparently,
Yeah.
apparently I could not predict that I was about to choke.
COVID round 4.
But yes, I do. My prediction is that Elon Musk is going to come back to Twitter and announce that he's the new head of the SEC and he can now tweet with impunity.
I like that.
No, that would be good.
See, now Emma, you're back at your game. I
Old
like that
school
one.
Emma. All right, Emma's back. She's back.
That would be fabulous. Matt?
I'm going to predict that we will hear within the year our first self-defense case in which a woman actually says she sues the government for not allowing her to defend herself from her own body when she gets pregnant.
Wait, what?
I think we're going to have a self-defense case in which she says the fetus is out to kill me,
Yeah.
or hurt me, or it is actually infringing on my rights. I'm going to sue the government for
She
not
shoots-
allowing me to
Shoot
defend
yourself?
myself.
I
That's a
like where you're going
world-
with this. I
That's
like
a
where you're
world
going
in
with
which,
this.
like, an embryo can testify in court, and that's
Look,
so
if we
scary
are
to
going
not
to
far from
say,
that. We're
if
not
we are
far
going
from
to
that.
say an embryo is a person at conception, then
That's what
we
I'm most
can,
worried about.
then
Yeah.
you can, say that this thing is out to get me, and I want to sue the government for
Emma,
not allowing me to protect
sorry.
myself.
Matt, I kind of like where you're going with this. I'm kind of on to this.
I'm just
prediction.
getting weird.
So is
I just
she
wanna
going
get
to
weird.
shoot herself? Like,
No. She's going to say that if I have the right to purchase a gun to protect my home from
Yeah.
invaders, I should have the right to protect my body from an invader in it.
it's a fascinating theory because unfortunately I think they're gonna push for like a personhood movement where they're gonna try to call
No.
these things
Ugh.
people. But Matt, you might not be kind of off on that one. I mean, you're right? Like, if you don't want it there and it's a person, why can't you shoot it?
In the ruling for Roe v. Wade, there's a line about the value of potential life. So potential life, if you extend that includes semen and eggs before they've ever touched. There's potential life. It includes anything that
But what
is
about just a romantic
potentially
dinner at a
alive.
nice sushi restaurant?
What
That could
about
be potential
AI?
life.
What about AI? What if somebody says at some point AI is future potential life, so you cannot turn it off, right?
Well-
Like you have to allow it to live.
The Google engineer said that the hypothetical sentient AI has hired a lawyer, so maybe we'll see that very soon.
Okay, we're off the rails.
There
I
we
like
go.
this. Get us out of here, somebody.
That was Damian Rollis and Emma Lurking and Ari the Data Queen. I'm Matt Mascardi. We are Freeflow Media. That was Business Pants, the weekly roundup. We will be back again next week with stuff every single day. So come do those things. Goodbye.